are listening to Girls in Low Places.
We're just two best friends yapping about country music.
You just say to everyone we interview with British humour just to cover up how mental we are.
Yeah!
Gilpers, we're back.
Yeah, that's fine. Gilpers. We're back.
It's the end of CMA Fest. Well, should we say British CMA Fest?
Wow, you've been doing the most, haven't you?
With the least. For those Gilpers who don't follow us on socials, because there are quite a few Gilpers who listen to our episodes and don't follow us on socials.
I think that's the best way to do it.
I basically decided to stop our CMA jealousy and sadness that we weren't there to come up with a social media concept called British CMA Fest, where I basically linked high street things to... It was kind of like if the CMA Fest was British, if you were staying at home, CM Stay Fest. So, for example, Ryman Stationery was the RYMAN. The Odeon was the Grand Old Odeon, and just did lots of different pieces of content, which when I came up with that idea, you were a bit concerned initially, weren't you?
Right, I'll set the scene. Firstly, I'd like to say it was my idea. Secondly...
It was your idea back when we... So, Gilbert, actually, we're going to give you some context.
Yeah, I'm going to set the scene. So, you hadn't left the house in a week. So, I was concerned about your mental health. So you were having some toe issues, which we won't go on to in here.
I've got infected nail beds. They're not ingrown toes. I've got infected nail beds from a bad pedicure.
Oh my God, is that what it's from? Yes. That's so scary.
I know, so check your pedicures. And then you've come in here today.
Check your pedi.
And may I just say, Ozzy walked in here today being like, just have my pedicure.
Look how great my feet look. Oh, we've had so many toe jokes, haven't we? Toe the line. Yeah. Which you never do.
Going toe to toe. Anyway, I've been in and out of A&E for my toes, which meant I've been a little bit like housebound.
Yeah, so you were going a bit crazy last week. So then we were talking about CMA Fest.
Let's go right back, I think.
How far back?
Back to when we got Gilpers. So we're going to tell you this, but I feel like you're going to be like, girls, what the hell? What the hell? What the...
I actually don't know what you're about to say.
We got press for Sand in My Boots Festival.
Yeah.
We did. And it just didn't work out going to Alabama because we got press, but we didn't get any other sort of like funding to get there or stay there. And I can't remember if they showed this on social media, but I think that accommodation was a thing. Like you had to have an RV, you had to have like a camping, you had to it was quite an intense festival to go to.
I think basically the summary that you always need to keep in your mind, in the back of your minds, is
no matter what brand pays you what, gives you all inclusive this, that and the other, which they weren't doing, by the way. But if they were, yeah. I still feel that me and you on a trip like that are going to drop a couple of grand because it's just like drinks. It's something at the merch shop.
It's a lot of the merch shop.
You know. So it's not like as easy. And then it's like, cabs to the airport. It doesn't.
It's those bloody cabs.
Those cabs to the airport. For me, dog care. It's you time off work.
My actual job.
Yeah. I mean, as you Gilpers know, as all normal human beings know, a trip like that is not as simple as like, yeah, we're just going to go
on a trip like that.
I've really got to stop with the J-Lo sing. Just want to stay forever. Anyway, so we got press for Sand in My Boots, Simb, and we were sad we weren't going. So I was like, Ozzy, let's have an alternative idea. So I was suggesting that we go and film in a sand merchant.
Which I vetoed.
Which you vetoed. And you said, why don't we go down to West Wittering?
I was like, let's do it on the beach and do our own version.
Anyway, so we didn't end up doing that sort of sand merchant, our own sort of alternative festival idea. So I was then like, right, CMA Fest. I decided this on Thursday night, just gone. I was like, I've got to do something. Why don't I do this? And I was giving you like my ideas, like the Keep Urban Outfitters. What was the one that sent you over the edge?
No, so basically we came up, I was like on more like CM Stay Fest, and then you were like, oh my God, CMA Stay at Home Fest. And I was like, oh no, what have I started? And then there's a barrage of texts like Keith Urban Outfitters, like literally all of the ones you've seen. And I was just like, I can't endorse this. It's so low budget.
Well, also, I think you were just trying to put me off from like luring you in.
Yeah, I was like, do it, but I don't want anything to do with it.
She was like, she could sense. I was like, oh, I'm having all these ideas. I'm having a real creative, like.
I was like, I'm not coming.
So I felt like I was getting a little bit it was pushback.
Yeah, it was really old Dominion at Domino's where I thought, cut the show, I'm out, I'm not getting involved.
I forgot about that one, didn't do that one.
And thank God.
We have had a few other ideas from other Gilpers who have written in saying that we should have done like people getting off at the bus stop as if like they were all and like interviewing the people as they came off.
That would have been great.
The thing that I found hard was like, well, there were several things that I found hard doing this. First of all, I did it all on my own. So I just had a selfie thing on a tripod in the middle of Guildford, as we like to now call it. And so it was a lot of like, had to have a really low embarrassment threshold.
Which you do, so that was fine.
And I do have some sort of experience in this because in my 20s, I used to recreate music videos, iconic music videos, but in really shit locations. Like that's what I used to do on Snapchat. And like I was TikTok before TikTok happened.
It's in her blood, as you can tell.
In my genetics, in my history, steeped in history, okay? So I used to do weird things. Like I did Toxic Britney on a train instead of a plane.
You know, this is really your remit.
Yeah, it is. Gwen Stefani with the tuba in Morrison's. It was iconic. But I was TikTok before TikTok happened. And then when it was 2020, I happened to have a boyfriend who was like, I don't like people laughing at you. I think this is not that great. And my brother also was like, I think you're funnier than this. You don't need to be doing stupid things on the internet. So I was like, okay, fine. And I didn't jump on the TikTok hype. And now look at me. I'm a girl in a low place. I didn't get on that big TikTok. If I'd have done it in 2020, I'd tell you now, I would be... What's her name? Who's a big TikToker?
I have no idea.
I'll be Alexel.
Would you? Maybe. Whatever helps you sleep at night, babe.
Okay. Anyway, so I woke up on Friday morning, even though Ozzy had not okayed the create.
No, I was like, what are you doing this weekend? Like, oh, nothing. Just, not feeling great with my toes. Just gonna have a quiet one. I was like, okay. And then a call. Hello? A Gilp has just seen me being escorted out of Boots.
Sorry. Wait, what? Okay. So obviously there was I tried to keep everyone anonymous. We went into the shop. I went into the Boots to do like, oh, where's cowboy boots? And I filmed myself, but I asked the question to the girls who worked at Boots. But I can understand the girls who I asked were like, there's some girl who's just come in and filmed us. And I think it was like someone taking the piss and da-da-da-da. So I was like, so I was like, okay, left Boots, didn't really think about it. Then like one security guard came running after me being like, you've got to delete that footage. I was trying to explain to him, no, it's just like, it's just me filmed. It's not me filming Boots. Like, it's fine. And then it was fine. And then two security guards then come out, or it's like a manager or something who said, you've got to delete that footage. All the while, a Gilper bloody comes up to me and is like, sorry, I listened to your podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm standing there in that dreadful outfit I had on, burn it to the ground. When I looked at that footage, I was like, there's nothing I can do. This is what I've got. That outfit was awful. No, anyway, oh no, it was bad. If you say is that how I look?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Is that how I look? Thank you for saying no. Anyway, it just was pure, it was like peak Gilp that like, I was being basically arrested in a cowboy hat with a selfie camera, and a Gilper was like, Jenny, by the way, who's going to be at Long Red. Jenny was like, sorry, I listened to your podcast. And she was just standing there with me in the midst of this chaos. And I was just like, shout out, Jenny. And I was just like, this is Gilp. This is Girls in Low Places. It just more sort of showed me I am who I am,
Yeah.
On and off camera.
I think you were just being peak you and everyone loved it. And look, okay, I just think that...
What do you think?
Let's get into CMA Fest chat.
Yeah. Out of CM Stay Fest, let's get into CMA Fest.
Yeah. I think the content you were delivering was iconic as ever. And I want to give a shout out, thank you to the Gilpers for enjoying it, supporting it, loving it. And all the people that were like, can't believe you guys aren't at CMA Fest. We wish you were.
Yeah. Well, we wish we were too.
Yeah, totally.
We didn't even request anything or even really speak to anyone about it because I'm moving house in like the next 2 weeks, which is a whole nother situation. My house has fallen through 3 times and like now it's basically hopefully going to go through. And so I'm just kind of on high alert. I don't have anywhere to move to.
No.
So I'm kind of just in this very like interim moment. I just didn't feel that like going into the most overwhelming place ever would add to anything good in my life at that point. And also you're getting married like literally it's like a month away now. It's getting absolutely it's just we can't be at the merch shop at CMA Fest. We can't afford it.
No.
So
it wasn't the year, but
it wasn't the year. And also, another thing I would say, considering that you haven't been to Nashville yet, and I would say this to Gilpers across the board who haven't been to Nashville, I think sometimes people think, oh, I'll go to Nashville for CMA Fest because that will kill two birds. No. My advice is, having gone last year, you want to go to Nashville on a quiet Tuesday and then you'll really get to see how amazing Nashville is.
Yeah, a bit more rawness or something.
A CMA Fest, yes, go for that as your second trip. It's amazing. I can't fault it. But go to Nashville on a random Tuesday or a random week and you'll really get to see the magic of Nashville, like sort of a lot more. And there's still like such a vibe there, like you still party, but like you'll get to see it at what it is normally. And then at CMA Fest, you can see it elevated. Otherwise, you would just kind of be a bit like, oh, surely it's not like this all the time if you're at CMA Fest. Anyway, we had a lot of Gilpers saying like, why aren't you there? Why aren't you there? We need to see your content there. And I will say, like, we have people saying, like, this content is better than anything we've seen come out at CMA Fest.
Yeah.
When life gives you lemons, I'll bloody make you a lemonade, Gilpers.
I'll take you to RYMAN's. RYMAN have replied to us, by the way. Do you see?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Not the RYMAN Stationery.
RYMAN Stationery.
Of course, RYMAN Stationery.
Of course, not RYMAN. Why would the RYMAN reply?
The RYMAN and everyone else I've tagged who are actual Nashville venues are going to be so confused.
Yes, they are.
There's a lot of outlets and people that go to CMA Fest and they cover it, but they cover like basically just like really nicely shot fan videos, really. That's about a side of stage. That's all really got from the UK scene. And I just feel like if we had been there, the stuff we could have got for you Gilpers. If I can get it at RYMAN Stationery, imagine what I can get at the actual RYMAN. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think, look, you are a natural in this area and no one can do it quite like you.
No one can rinse me quite like you. That is true.
The thing that CM Stay Fest made me realise is that we have such great loyalty from the Gilpers, and that people were saying, oh my God, this content's better than CMA Fest, which honestly, like, thank you. And lol. I mean, that is so funny. But I think the point is that, like, it's really nice to hear our fans and, like, the people that support us being like, we wish you were there. We want to see your content. And even our friends in the industry out there, like, messaging and saying, oh, we wish you guys were here. We're talking about how much we love you. Like,
our style of rogue journalism, it can sometimes get you, like, the juiciest thing because, like, we're just, like, having the best bloody time. Country music in the UK, we bring something to it that no one else can quite do or replicate the way we do it. And I genuinely think it's a very niche thing that we do. It's not for everyone. But the one thing I can say is that we naturally do it very well. And I'm going to give us a pat on the back for that because I felt like the CMA coverage was lacking something. And I do think it was us.
Yeah, of course we're going to say that. No, but it was just nice. Thank you so much to the Gilpers and our supporters and everyone that's helped us. We really appreciate the people that get it and the people that kind of like our USP. And it was really nice hearing all the messages saying, oh, we wish you were out there watching the content. And
we'll be there next year, and we definitely have plans in motion post-wedding to get over to America, the two of us, and do it as a trip, especially for you.
We've got plenty of ideas and plans, don't you worry. But
don't worry.
But I also think, like, a big part of it for us is that we don't ever want to be not, like, true to our fans or true to who we are or why we started this.
Yeah.
We always wanted to do this because we wanted to show you, like, we've got further than we ever thought. And also we wanted to, you know, represent being a UK country fan and talk about things we love. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to Nashville every 5 minutes. Is my point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's plenty of country fans in the UK. All of our fans that, like, have jobs and
people who can't go.
People can't afford it and all that stuff. That doesn't matter. I just think, like, sometimes it's hyped into this big thing. And, like, yes, it would be amazing to go, of course. But it's also okay if your life doesn't revolve around that.
And you can't afford every single gig.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
You can't go on every single
trip. That's what the love is about.
Well, I sometimes look at some of the country UK influencers and I'm like, how do they afford all of this?
Hey, I do.
I don't know how. And, like, well, I mean, that brings us on to what Whiskey Riff have done this article about influencers getting tickets that real fans should be getting at CMA, which I thought was really interesting because, first of all, I've got a few thoughts on this. First of all, Whiskey Riff is not a publication. It's basically an Instagram page that's turned into a publication, I think.
Oh, interesting.
So Whiskey Riff is an influencer complaining about influencers, which is hilarious.
I didn't think that it was an influencer then.
It's huge on Instagram. It's got influence.
Yeah, but that's different to being an influencer.
Exactly. This is what it comes on to me and you. Because I thought, well, maybe we come under that category a little bit of like, we sometimes get tickets and real country fans don't, or whatever. And I understand how people might be frustrated sometimes that we get tickets that means we're, you know, we don't have to queue or we don't have to this or da. But what I would say is different from us and a normal influencer, I would hope, is that we add value because we have our podcast. So we will give reviews. We will talk about topics.
But I don't ever think we don't go under the influencer bracket. We go because we're press.
Right. But I think we could be seen as, I think there could be some people.
Sorry, look at me. I'm not bloody influencer, am I? Look at the state of me. Look at the state of us every week. You're living in the dream world if you think you're an influencer, babe. Jesus Christ, just want to bring it back here a second. sorry, everyone just thinks I'm an influencer, so just in case you're confused. No, they don't, hon. Don't worry about it. Moving on. I was like, A1 worried that you were getting the influencer pros, the influencer benefits. Don't worry. It's okay. But what do you... Come back down off your high horse. Get back down here. Come on. You've been inside for too long. You need to get back to the real world.
Do you know what's happened? I've had too many compliments about British CMA Fest. Gone to my head. Jesus Christ. But back to the influencer topic. What do you feel about that? Like, what about influencers who do maybe just mouth or dance on TikTok, getting really good tickets, and then just mouthing and dancing on TikTok, being in a really good ticket spot when, you know...
I don't care about any of that. Like, fine, great, be in the lane, and I understand why brands need it. But
yeah.
I just want to make very clear, and this is also like why I've always had like maybe a slight about Nashville and these events sometimes, is that I sometimes find a lot of it a bit too commercial, and I don't love that aspect. And I started this because I'm a music geek and a country music fan. And I think sometimes being in this world, you can see how sometimes that element gets lost.
Yes. I think that what I would say to that end, I think that's the online presence of it. I think when you're actually there, I do think you don't see... I mean, most of the time I was there last year, I was just in the bars with the people who were just like playing, you know, the cover and what Nashville sort of, or what Broadway really is. I wasn't actually at the Nissan that much. Like, I just was enjoying the music and the vibe. I wasn't thinking about Dasher doing a flash mob. I wasn't thinking about, as you say, all those sort of like gimmicky, like, oh, suddenly it didn't feel like that when there. But I think when you look at it online from someone who isn't there, it does feel very like in your face, all these different,
I think that's
gimmicky
what
things.
That article's saying, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And I do think, like, I do understand like the frustration when people are like spending a lot of money and they see an influencer just getting these gigs for free. But the thing is, what I would say is that like influencers, I know it seems like it's an easy job, but as an influencer, I'm kidding. No, but I know for a fact that consistency it takes to be a prime TikToker is a lot of work. And I do think that's just a perk of their job. You might have a perk of your job. You might get 10% discount at something that we don't, that influencer never will. I do understand it, but I also understand both sides. I think there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah, but we're not saying that. I don't understand what this train of thought is. Why are we being anti-influencer?
No, I'm not being anti-influencer.
No.
But that article was being anti-influencer.
Oh, right. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of being like these...
It's just
we should veto the TikTokers being able to get better gig tickets than country fans themselves.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. But that's just any industry, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. That's just the world right now.
Yeah.
It's the world we bloody live in. Also, CMA Fest, I mean, peak moments. I think one of the peak moments was just that half of it was rained off.
Oh my God, I can't believe that.
What I'm going to say is...
Classic fallacy that we weren't there.
Exactly. Mother Nature, you're a gilper.
She absolutely is.
No, I do feel awful for some of the artists. I do feel awful for the spans who paid a lot of money or like spent a lot of time to be there.
I think it still looked like people have fun.
I quite like it. It kind of felt like a snow day.
Yeah, no one seemed like really pissed off.
No, like I saw like Just Jane, like loads of people were doing like ad hoc gigs that were kind of like more intimate or more off the hook and more just about what the music is about. So I actually quite liked it. And I imagine the atmosphere in the bars at that point was actually really electric because everybody would just pour into the bars and be like, fuck it, let's have a shot.
Yeah, definitely. No,
and I think that would have been actually quite a good vibe. So,
yeah,
you know,
agreed.
But I'd rather it rained off a little bit and we had that sort of vibe than it was so hot that people were like
100%.
dying. Do you know what? Faith Hill was there. Faith Hill was there supporting, I think it's her daughter, so Tim McGraw's and her daughter's new album or something coming out. But there was a lot of talk that maybe Faith Hill is going to have a comeback.
Oh, cool. That'd be good.
This kiss.
Like that, yeah.
So would you welcome that?
I am happy about it. She's not like my number one. She's not in my top 5. But yeah, love it.
Okay.
Good for her.
Hailey Whitters had her album launch.
Hailey Whitters' album.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, please?
I loved it.
You're a corn queen.
So I did really like it. I think, so there's a song on it called Hearsay.
Right. Yeah, I think I have, yeah.
I don't know why. I just thought she just does something different to everyone else, I think. Mm-hmm. It's more raw and it's more, you can never say that girl is not country because it is country as it comes.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought there were some songs that you
like White Limousine, I think?
I thought White Limousine was amazing. But I thought it was a good album. I've only listened to it once or twice, so I need to give it another listen. I feel like it's a grower.
Yeah. Not a shower.
Not a shower. But I think there's some great songs on there. She wrote a post saying that she had really poured her like personal, professional life into it. It was like a really hard album to write. So that was interesting. But I just think she's brilliant. Like, I love her.
She's got a really good play on words. I feel like she's got that sort
great lyricist.
Yeah. And we just think she's
style.
A great gal. Great style.
Looks amazing.
I just want to get her on Guilt so bad.
And on point.
I hope she's coming to London. She's got to be doing a tour.
No, I think she's great. No, I'm excited for the new album. I like it a lot.
There was actually a little bit of heat for Megan Moroney this weekend. Again, I feel like she's getting a lot of heat at the moment.
Yeah, what's going on?
Just for her vocals.
Great vocal.
Well, when you saw her live, what were your thoughts? Great. Okay. I know that she is not like, you know, she's not Mariah Carey, but she's got a different style of vocals that is like a bit talky singy, like really. It's kind of a bit like sort of like chatty singing.
Yeah.
And I just think I'm fed up. I think it's an immature take that we are going to be like, oh, she didn't sound good live. Like I used to say that when I was like 18 about Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. I'd be like, oh my God, they can't even sing. And I'm like, that's not what an artist is though.
No, I agree.
Not every artist has to sound incredible live. It's artistry that we're looking for.
Yes, I agree. And there are artists I've seen recently where I've been like, okay, vocal's not on point, but like I'm not liking them for that reason. Or I still just like, it's bloody hard to sing live sometimes when you're doing everything else or on a big stage.
And everyone's got a phone.
Yeah.
Catching you at your worst moment. Also, there's just been a lot of hate on one of our posts for Megan. The one where we were talking about Megan and Ella at the ACM Awards. It went pretty viral, and we've had a lot of different comments of people pitting those girls against each other. And I just want to say, let's stop. Obviously, we know there's some sort of love triangle going on, but that doesn't mean we can say Megan's a better artist, Ella's a better artist. It's all subjective. I think they're both incredible artists, incredibly different, and I don't think we need to compare their artistry together. I mean, I listened to Megan and Ella at very different points in my life.
Same.
Megan's like, I want a girly sunshine.
Girls.
Yeah, it's girl time.
Long pensive.
I think Megan is more like, she's more like succinctly girly. I think Ella, like you could listen to that with your boyfriend because she's a bit more Fleetwood Mac, a bit more like has some more rocky influences. But Ella's more like, I'm having a cigarette outside while the sunset's going and I'm going, God, this life. You know, it's a different time. I'm not listening to them for the same thing at the same time.
No, it's a boring narrative, that thing.
You especially lost it when I was chasing Ella Langley the cat down the road.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Someone said the cat actually looks like Ella Langley.
It does. Speaking of this love triangle, just to update everyone, there was a video of some influencer wearing a topless t-shirt of Riley Green, and Meghan commented on it saying, "Need that t-shirt."
Yeah, surely that's confirmation. But he came out and said, didn't he, that wasn't dating anyone?
Yeah, he said that the internet tells me every week who I'm dating. So I just commented on it from Girls in No Place saying, like, "Riley, you're dating me." Loads of people have liked it. Don't know if you've seen. Oh, that was a good joke. And then I was like, oh, actually, that might be a bit
If you ever see anything rogue posted from the Guild account, please know that it's not me.
Oh. No, what you do is like, so I say to Ozzy, like, to boost our engagement and make sure we're like, getting back to all the Gilpers, like, let's reply to every comment. Ozzy will go through the comments, see like, love this, and then she'll see one comment that's like, "Katie, you're such an idiot, lol," and you'll be like, "Yeah, what an idiot, can't help it."
That's not true.
You troll me.
That's not true.
You only reply to the comments that are like, "Isn't Katie a fool?" You're like, "Yeah."
No way, definitely not. No, what I do is, because you'll have a conversation with someone and then stop halfway.
I'm bad
then
at
you
that.
leave everyone in mid-conversation. Then I have to finish off the conversation or finish off the reply on the comments. So I'm just like dipping midway through a conversation that you've had.
I do really like that the Gilpers never know who they're talking to. But they can probably tell.
Yeah.
Do you think they could tell Gilpers?
Yeah.
Can you tell who
It's
you're
like,
talking
oh
to?
my God, yeah, lol. It's you. And if I'm like, oh, thanks so much, that's great, it's you.
Okay, so we had some Gilpers who went to Kitmore. And they sent us a review.
Yeah, we love getting your reviews.
We love getting reviews and voice notes. Gilpers, just send us more voice notes.
Yeah, if you want to be on the pod,
this is the way.
Hi, Katie and Ozzy. Just thought I'd let you know, Kitmore, flipping amazing. Oh my goodness, I was so unprepared for that gig. His voice was actually incredible. Do you know what? And I just wanted to say this. I saw 2 cowboy hats there. 2 cowboy hats. And I'll tell you what, when I got on the tube to go to Brixton, and there were 2 people in front of me going down the escalators with cowboy hats on, and I don't know why, but I was like, I had intrusive thoughts to tap them on the shoulder and say, "Oh my gosh, you're going to see Kitmore." Why I would do that, I don't know. So fucking glad I didn't. Didn't think anything of it, got on, went to the gig, come back, there are so many cowboy hats. My train back to mine was rammed. Luckily I got on early and got a seat, but oh my goodness, rammed. And there were girls with country hat, with cowboy hats. And I thought, what's happened here? Like, I'm so confused. Like, have you all come from Kip? Like, and then I look at this girl's hat because I'm thinking, that's actually a really nice cowboy hat. It was like all American flag. And I nearly asked her where it was from, and it's a Cowboy Carter. And I'd completely forgotten that obviously Beyonce's been at Tottenham Hotspur the last few nights.
I had so many texts over the weekend from friends, non-country friends, being like, "What country gig is happening? There's so many country people everywhere in London." And I was like, "Oh my God, who's that for?" And then I realised it was for Cowboy Carter. Now, I have requested tickets, and Live Nation are looking into whether they're going to be able to give me some for this coming weekend. So maybe, Gilpers, I'm going to be able to report back. Oh, have you seen that whole White Fox thing?
I'm not coming, by the way.
I know you're not coming. I know that you refuse.
I can't tell you how many people have tried to get me to go to Cowboy Carter. Like, people are taking it as like a personal, like, offence that I refuse to go. Like, my friends, people I barely know are just like, we have to go because you love country. I'm like, well, exactly, that's why I'm not going. People are furious.
Yeah, people are furious. People who...
I'm going to stand my ground on this one. I like Beyonce, but just not this album.
I know. Have you seen the White Fox drama?
No.
So White Fox, the brand, took like loads of like Love Island style influencers to Cowboy Carter, and they did a TikTok where they were like asking them what song are those girls most excited to see, and like every single girl basically said, "Can't wait for Countdown, can't wait for Like a Boy, can't wait for Crazy in Love." Like, said every other song other than Cowboy Carter. So literally Cowboy Carter fans are like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't take," again, you shouldn't take influencers to a gig when like fans could have had those tickets, blah, 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 blah. So that was funny. But like, I would be like a White Fox influencer in that gig. I'd be very excited for all the throwbacks and not very excited for the Cowboy Carter album. But Beyonce is an incredible performer live, and I would love to see what she does with the album live. I would love to see if I come out of it and I actually have a different perspective on the album and a different perspective on what the album was and what's it about. So I'd really like to go. I really would. I want to do it for the Gilpers as well, because there's got to be something in this that we're missing here.
Do you know what I will give her in like the footage I've seen and like everything else? Like, to me, she is America. Like, the American brand, what she's, that she's doing with the, the US flag and everything, it looks so great because she embodies everything about it. And I would never say that she didn't. It's just that I don't like the songs.
Yeah. I know, and I'm sure we would have a great time at the show, and I will be able to stand back and go, God, she's an amazing performer. I just think, and I just want to understand why this album ironically country. She's trying to say something with it. Well, what is she trying to say? But I do understand, as country fans who get not mocked, but like we always feel a bit silly when we're wearing our, cowboy outfits to a country gig, and we, people sort of giggle at us on the tube. To have like the whole of London be country hat-ified for a gig that the country fans don't see as a country gig is just a bit strange. It's just a bit weird.
It is weird. That's so true.
I think it's maybe like,
oh yeah, like what country gig is it? And like we would know, and people would be talking about it. But it's like this whole other world of like,
and people love it. People love it. My friends who went to the
outfits will be amazing.
Amazing. It's been, Western. I mean, I think actually the Beyonce crowd has done some of the Western wear better than the actual country crowd does.
Because it's more modern.
More modern. They're more fashion based as a like I say, as a genre of fans. Whereas we're more maybe we're just trying to get by. We're just trying to do what we can to get ourselves to a gig on a Thursday night in Kentish Town. We're not thinking about it for 3 months.
I've like
Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, Lou and I are. Hence coming back to the point of you thinking you're an influencer when basically we're one step away from wearing a t-shirt and leggings to a gig.
Maybe I'm a t-shirt and leggings influencer.
Like start wearing t-shirt and leggings. It might be easier. Anyway, yes, it did look amazing. The people were dressed up well. I think the visuals were good. I was interested to see that. I felt like when Cowboy Carter came out, the press reviews were quite positive. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of reviews of the gig and they've been quite negative.
Ooh.
So I was interested to know like why that was. People have suddenly just kind of.
I just don't trust press reviews ever. I think it's sometimes journalists want to say something to just say something, or just to be like, I don't like this because I like real music because it's something that everybody likes. Or I don't know. I think when things are popular, journalists like to tear them down. I don't love that.
No.
But, I think...
Always.
Not always. I think music's subjective. I think you have to know what you like. I think even sometimes the things we say, we have girlpers who say, no, disagree. Lots of people have disagreed that the Morgan gig at BST was maybe better than the Morgan gig at the Roundhouse. That I said the other day. Lots of girlpers were saying, absolutely not. That was such a special gig. You can't say that. It's all subjective. Music is subjective.
Yeah.
And that's life. Did you know that Chris Young went to a really normal bar the other day and had a $200 bill and tipped $2,000. He gave a 2,000% tip.
What a nice man.
Chris Young, if you're listening, we could do with $2,000. That I'd get CMA Fest.
What are you offering him for a tip?
I'll offer him a lot. God.
Yeah, well, anyway, look, roundup of the week. We hope everyone had an amazing time at CMA Fest. It did look really brilliant. And,
we are super jealous.
We can't take that away. And there were some amazing artists there, obviously. So we hope everyone had a good time. If you did go, and if you did go, also give us your reviews, give us your summaries, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah,
we would love to hear it. And we'll be there one day.
One day.
But I will say we are refreshed and recharged.
We are recharged.
We've got summer ahead.
Summer's coming. Summers are coming.
Yeah.
We're getting ready.
I think it'll be as big as last year.
I don't know.
But you never know. We've got Zach Bryan coming up.
Hardy. Sabrina Carpenter. Are
you going to that?
Yeah, you're going to that.
I'm not going to that.
You're going to that.
We have tickets.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do. No, we do.
No, we don't.
If we get tickets, you're coming to that.
Maybe.
Well, Tana Adele is now playing Sabrina Carpenter. So, interesting. And I feel like Sabrina Carpenter's getting more and more country. She's seeping more in. I think Man-Child is quite country. There's loads of things coming up. We're going to Hardy in a week's time.
Is it a week?
It's not long.
God.
Not long now.
Not long now.
It's going to be hardy to resist. No, hang on.
Yeah, lovely. Go for it.
I hope it's not too hardy to get my toes recovered by that point, because I don't want to be stepped on at a gig. They're not well. They're not well. No. Be careful of where you get pedicure, guys.
Oh, God, that is
actually, no, there is something I wanted to talk about. Right, I want to talk about, this is a bit off the country sphere. I was talking to you about it yesterday.
What?
So basically, Gilpers, my house is selling, and I'm then...
Are you about to ask people where you should live? I thought we weren't actually...
No, I'm literally going to do that. I think there's an interesting thing with this, and I'm sure the Gilpers get this, because I think most of the Gilpers, or most people who like country music, if they live in a city, they have a fantasy about living in the countryside.
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah.
And if they are in the countryside, they sometimes feel like, oh, I wish I was maybe in the city so I could get to more gigs or like see a bit more music that I love more regularly.
You always want what you don't have.
You always want what you don't have. But you're right. So you are city living as it stands, but you're from the countryside. Ozzy's from Wiltshire.
Yeah.
We are going to do a Wiltshire weekend, Gilp weekend vlog at some point. I can't wait.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's going to be great. And then I think, I think that will really show that you have country roots, but you're urban at the moment. And I'm just trying to figure out whether I want to come back and be urban. I'm currently in Guildford. And I live in like a nice countryside part of Guildford, but it has really nice access to Guildford. I can still get into London, but it does make going to the gigs and doing the interviews tricky. And I just don't know whether I'm having lived in Devon and Guildford now for a while. I lived in London for 10 years, but I've been out.
It's boring, mate.
No, but I think, look,
It's not your fucking memoir. People don't care. God, what up? I'm bored and you're my friend.
What I want to know is like,
I lived down here 7 years ago. I've lived in Devon. I've lived... Let me take you back. I was born in 1990. Bloody hell. You're 100 years old.
should I be back in the bustling city with all the gigs? Obviously, it will help the podcast to a point, but I also think to listen to country music, I actually hate listening to country music when I'm in London. I like it when I'm driving around on the weekend.
Yeah, it definitely hits harder. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And also, like, I think we need that blend on the podcast. I think we need a rural...
Oh, I went back home this weekend, listened to Don't We, cruising through the fields. I was like, oh, it's hitting so hard.
Right.
I literally thought I was going to have a break.
But also, I think this is in terms of, like, I, ultimately do want to live and be with a guy who wants to live in the countryside. I don't know if I'm going to find that in the urban space.
What are you talking about?
If I move back to London, I don't know if I'll find a guy who ultimately wants to go and move out again to the countryside.
There are millions of people that live here. What the hell are you talking about? It's not like no one can ever move out.
Yeah, but what if I fall in love with someone who's like city till I die?
Can someone take over, please? I can't listen to it. And that's the end of the episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to hear Katie rambling about her life, maybe she'll do an Instagram live that I won't join. But thanks so much. This has been a thrill.
Thank you so much for attending British CMA Fest. It was as amazing as it looked. If you've got any other content ideas or things you want us to cover in that vein, throw them at us.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you always, as ever, for your support.
Yeah.
Love you.
Until next year, British CMA Fest, Gilpers. Until next episode. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
No, sorry, that was too boring.
No, but that was fun.